Okay, so let's jump right into a really fascinating idea. It's this paradox, right? How the most powerful thing you can do in a conversation is often to say absolutely nothing. It sounds kind of backwards, I know, but trust me, learning how to use strategic silence can totally change the game for you. It changes how people see you. So yeah, let's get into it. I mean, really think about it for a second. You've been in that room, right, where one person just commands all the attention. And they're not the loudest one, not at all. They're usually the quietest. They say maybe one or two things, and bam, everyone stops and listens. How do they do that? What is that secret? That's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. If you want a perfect example of this happening right now, just look at someone like Elon Musk. His secret weapon isn't just about rockets or fancy cars. It's how he says just enough to make the entire world lean in and listen. And the tactic he uses? It's shockingly simple. He'll often just use these short, kind of cryptic statements. Sometimes it's just one word. He doesn't do long press conferences or detailed explanations. Nope. He just drops a single mysterious little phrase and then just lets the world go wild trying to figure it out. And the effect is, well, it's huge. Because he says so little, people are basically forced to guess what he means. They start to speculate, they debate, they analyze every single word. And this creates this huge vacuum that everyone rushes to fill with their own ideas and theories. His silence makes the few words he does say incredibly powerful. But here's the thing. Musk didn't invent this, not by a long shot. His whole strategy is built on this timeless, fundamental rule of power and influence. It's something anyone can learn. And here it is, the core idea. Always say less than necessary. Now, this doesn't mean you should be shy or just not talk. It's a deliberate choice, right? You're strategically holding back your words to make them hit harder. And the key word here is necessary. It's all about cutting out the fluff so your main point can really, truly shine. This really gets to the heart of why this all works. See, when you're constantly talking, constantly over-explaining everything, you actually start to sound less authoritative. You're way more likely to say something foolish or maybe give away too much information. Real control, that comes from speaking in a measured, deliberate way. So we know what the rule is, but let's break down the psychology of it. Why is saying less just so incredibly effective? What's going on in our heads that makes us react this way? Well, look at this comparison. On one side, if you're talking all the time, you can seem, well, ordinary, maybe even a little nervous, like you're trying too hard to be heard. But on the other side, speaking less makes you seem thoughtful, confident. Our brains just naturally assume that a quiet person is processing, thinking, choosing their words carefully, and we read that as power. You can think of it like any rare thing, like diamonds or gold. The less there is of something, the more valuable it becomes. It is the exact same thing with your words. When you don't talk a lot, people learn that when you do decide to speak, it's got to be important. So they lean in, they listen a lot closer, and every single word you say just lands with so much more weight. Okay, so we've gone through the theory, we've seen it in action with a big example. But the real magic of this idea is how you can actually use it. This isn't just for tech billionaires or world leaders. This is a tool you can use in your very next meeting, your next negotiation, maybe even that tricky conversation you've been putting off. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Next time you're in a conversation and you feel that urge to just jump in, to fill an awkward pause, to explain yourself for the 10th time, just stop. Take a breath and ask yourself this question. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can possibly say is nothing at all. What you choose not to say can say more about you than anything else.